We're going to go to Rich Bishop.
Hey, Dewey, thank you so much for doing this with us today. Boston is notoriously one of the toughest places to play. And over the years, there have been so many players that have played for smaller market teams and gone to Boston and just have not had the same success there that they have in other places. You played there almost 20 years. So how does somebody succeed in a town like that? And what were some of the things that you had to deal with the media, the fans, that you had to overcome that made you be able to be successful over such a long period of time there?
Well, number one, the fans, it took 4 or 5 years to realize that how good these fans were. And when they booed, they weren't really booing you personally, unless you weren't hustling. And if you were a great athlete and you didn't hustle, they knew how good you were. Whether you were average, they loved. I like to relate it to Terry O'Reilly, the hockey player. He could hardly skate, but they loved him when he got on the ice. He would fight, but they loved him because he gave all that he had. And once I realized that they weren't booing me or that they cheer you and maybe thickle in a way, no. I realized that they were passionate. They had emotions. And I'll never forget when Rick Burleson said to me when the Red Sox didn't keep him, so they traded him to Anaheim. And he comes up to me, there at Anaheim's in town, and he goes, "Dewey, I made a play last night in the hole between third and short. I dove, jumped up, threw this guy out by a step." And you got 20,000 fans in Anaheim going, "Wow." Now, if that happened in Fenway, they'd be jumping up and down, cheering. They're just more emotional. He goes, "I miss the emotions in Fenway Park and from the fans." And once you realize that as a player, you fall in love with them. And so the guys that come from smaller markets and they're intimidated. The writers can be tough, but my wife would always hand me the newspaper. She'd give me who's pitching, not that night because I already knew who was pitching that night, but because she had told me that the night before, she'd put on a piece of paper who's pitching tomorrow night, but she'd always hand me the newspaper without the sports page. And because I didn't need to read if I screwed up the night before or I did well. I know what I did. I know what our team did. I didn't need to rehash it. And I didn't need to read how some guys analogy of the game, whether it ticked them off or made them happy. I didn't need to read that. So I think that helped me. And we don't, as players, you don't need to, I love Zim. We talked about him earlier. Zim would always sit on a bench and go, "I don't listen to any talk shows." And then the guy that's the head of the talk show is like Claflin and somebody else had a talk show. He'd jump down their throat because he was listening to the talk show and someone said something or they said something. So actually he did listen to the talk shows, but you don't listen to that stuff. You don't need to hear their thoughts, whether they're negative or positive. I hope that answers your question, Rich.
Yeah,
I
that's
hope
great.
I did.
Thank you.